perfect world. The one with no pain, no sadness, no death, no crying. It's a world we would all love to exist. And last week we saw how the Bible promises that it's a reality. That's what the new creation, the new heavens and the new earth will be like. But the question we left off with is, how can we know that it's really true? Well, let's talk about Jesus. You can find the events we're going to mention in Mark chapter 5, verses 21 to 43 of your Bibles. And in those verses, we read of Jesus walking with a great crowd all around him. And a man called Jairus walks up and says, "My little daughter is on the point of death. Come and lay your hands on her so that she might be made well and live." And so Jesus goes with him, and the crowds are pressing in as they walk along. Now in that crowd was a woman who'd been really quite ill. She had a discharge of blood for 12 years. She'd seen a bunch of doctors and spent every penny she had trying to get it fixed, trying to get better, and nothing had worked. In fact, verse 26 tells us it had just gotten worse. But she had heard of Jesus and the things Jesus has done, and she thought, if I touch his garments, if I just touch his garments, I'll be made well. So she snuck up through the crowd, reached out and touched his clothes. And Jesus feels the power leave him and asks, "Who touched me?" And the woman fell down trembling and told him everything. To which Jesus replies, "Your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your disease." The problem is, whilst all that was going down, someone came from Jairus' house and told him, and Jesus heard, that the young girl there, Jairus' daughter, has died. But Jesus insists on going to the house anyway, and he walks into Jairus' house, and he asks what must have seemed like a ludicrous and completely insensitive question. The girl has died, and Jesus asks, "Why are you making a commotion and weeping? The child is not dead, but sleeping." And then he chucks out everyone except the girl's parents and his disciples. Then he takes the girl's hand and says, "Little girl, I say to you, arise." And this 12-year-old girl gets up and is walking around. Naturally, everyone is amazed. Now, this was in the book of Mark, and Mark writes it to show us the power that Jesus has. Jesus, just in that little story we read, has power over sickness. The woman gets healed. He has power over death. The dead girl is brought back to life again. If we'd rewound just a little bit to Mark 4:35 to 41, we'd see Jesus has power over nature. He tells a storm to stop, and it stops. Have a think about those things Jesus is showing he can get rid of, though. Sickness, death, pain, sadness. They're the very things we said would be gone in a perfect world. They're the things Revelation promised wouldn't be in the new creation. Jesus here is showing us he has the power to make that perfect world a reality. He's showing us a glimpse of what that world will be like, just a little taste. It's like a trailer for a movie. It's a collection of events that are there to shout, "Look how great this is going to be. Look how great this world is going to be. You are going to want to be a part of this." It's just a glimpse, a teaser, that that perfect world doesn't exist yet. But it was the real deal. And it shows that Jesus can make that perfect world. But there is a massive surprise to come. Now, this week is Easter week. I hope you've all got your chocolate eggs ready. But it's an Easter week where we remember that Jesus, who we've seen today has power over death, is going to become a victim to it. Jesus dies Easter week. He dies on Good Friday, and then he rises again on Easter Sunday. And then next Tuesday, here on the YouTube channel, we'll talk about what Jesus' death and resurrection has to do with this perfect world that is to come, and the perfect world that Jesus has shown us a glimpse, a taste of today. Cheers, guys.